Right, hi everyone. This is Harry and Sam.
Hello. Hello.
We're just going to have a chat about autism and really how a bit of advice really about working with autistic people.
Yeah.
And how you are both autistic. How do you prefer to be referred to? Is it are you someone with autism? Are you autistic? I know you're Harry and Sam, but and being autistic isn't something that we normally talk about a lot because it's just accepted, and it doesn't really mean any difference to us. But so do you like to be referred to as autistic? Having autism, neurodiverse, what do you think is the appropriate way?
Well, I think that for me, autistic is fine, but for some people they do prefer neurodiverse or neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm fine with autistic. Someone describes it as autistic, but I know people who are happy to be called neurodivergent.
Yeah. And so what are you currently doing at school?
A levels.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wonderful A levels.
Yeah. And what subjects are you doing?
A level history and A level chemistry.
Yeah, I'm just doing A level history.
Yeah. But you're hoping to go on then to do another. What are you hoping to go on to next, Harry?
Either A level chemistry is most likely what I'll be doing if I'm doing another A level.
Yeah. And then what are you hoping to do after that?
I'd quite like to see if I can go to university because it's quite like a degree in history and hopefully higher eventually for history.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people don't realise that that just because you're autistic doesn't mean to say that you can't do all of these things. There's a misunderstanding about it, isn't there?
There's a very great misunderstanding that me and Harry both experienced.
Yeah, it's a very unpleasant misconception which is why a lot of people don't like to disclose their autism and other conditions because there's an unpleasant stigma attached to it where people think, oh, they have autism or they're neurodiverse, and because of that they won't be able to achieve what other people will achieve, and it's a very unpleasant stigma.
Yeah, especially when, I mean, you've had teachers in your school, haven't you, that have been autistic, and in fact some of the nicest teachers that we both worked with, we've all worked with, have been autistic, and lawyers and doctors and surgeons and judges and politicians, and it's sort of
it's everywhere.
Autistic
people working in all kinds of professions with or without a diagnosis.
So somebody mentioned to me about why is there so much more autism now than there were many years ago. What are your thoughts on
that? My thoughts are that there has always been autistic people and neurodiverse people throughout all of history. It's just before they would be discriminated against and misunderstood and abandoned because of these conditions. People didn't understand them, but now people are beginning to understand, and there's a lot more help and support in place, so that a lot of these conditions are now coming out into the open and being discussed, which is really good.
Yeah.
It's also just a general population increase over the decades and years.
Yeah.
Not just generally more autistic people now than have been because of our population size.
Yeah.
And as Harry says, it's more discussed now.
Yeah.
Rather than swept under the carpet.
Yeah. Which is good. And with autism's known as a spectrum, isn't it?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that?
The spectrum is quite an interesting method, because I believe that it is quite useful, because autism can be, they class it as more or less severe. So you can have someone who is, shall we say, less able than others in certain ways, or needs more support in certain aspects, and they are classed as not less functioning, I think, and high functioning is people who are able to almost disguise their autism, or people who aren't really. A lot of people who are high functioning can sometimes be confused for not being autistic, and some of them will then hide their autism. But the spectrum is quite a good system that helps to display that there are many differences between people with autism and how they come across and how they can be seen.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things that when I was doing my research a couple of years ago, I think one of the things that you said to me was sort of every single person with autism is different anyway.
Yes, they are very different, very unique.
Yeah,
They are. They've got that individualism,
Yeah.
which you find in any normal person.
yeah. And I think what's interesting for me is you two are identical twins, yet you are so different, aren't you?
Yeah.
Or you sort of emerge from the same egg, but you are actually so different, and which is interesting from a nature nurture point of view, isn't it?
Yeah.
So which I do find fascinating. Now I think one of the things that I've come across with autistic people, and bearing in mind what you were saying before, Harry, about people kind of covering up the condition, it's the majority of people that I've worked with over the years have had a background level of anxiety.
Yes.
And why do you think that is?
I think it goes back to stigma, isn't it, in a large part? The fact that it is looked down upon, and like when I was young, before I got my diagnosis, I'd never heard of any neurodiverse people, or even knew what it was. And in modern society, it tends to be that only experts, or people who know, or people who are autistic or have autistic children or neurodiverse children, only they seem to know that much about it. It seems to be something that's not really discussed, and it's starting to get discussed a lot more, which is really good. But it still seems to be something that society is still attaching, still holding the stigma to, something that is, particularly in, for instance, mainstream education, it seems to be something that is still viewed and looked down upon, rather than supported. And I think that that needs to change, and that'll be why, or one of the reasons why there will be such an anxiety to it, because in modern society as well, it gives you a sense that you are unique to everyone else, and
Which is
difficult,
which can be actively discouraged, and a lot of people don't want to stand out, especially those with autism, because of the stigma attached, as we've just been saying. And of course, there is the almost medical underlying reasons of increased anxiety that comes with autism. So when all blended together.
I think for a lot of the people that I've spoken to, it's that having to fit in with the world that has certain expectations of you.
Yes, it's like trying to find a box that you can fit yourself into, because our society is, as human nature will put it, into boxes, and a lot of people with autism or neurodiverse, they struggle to fit in any one box, and so society will want them naturally to fit in a box, and so they'll have to try and suppress some of their actions or something that they need to do just to fit in one of the boxes.
Yeah.